Vamos a ver. Sácalo, sácalo. Ok, señoras y señores. Aquí está el número. Aquí está el número. Y el número es 62-59. Pero después nos vemos. Repito, 62-59.
Ее помогла грешь, ты все подобно в том. Слегка вниз, чутенько помощь. Все ей не то, сучка, не то. Больше мне не нравится ее слова. И как она облокачивается на стол. Я твой клуб, моя шера. Что уже меня любишь? Вообще ничего.
Colombia. Agradecemos la cooperación del Gobierno de la República de Cuba, Instituto Nacional de Deportes, Educación Física y Recreación, IBA, la Federación Cubana de Boxeo. We are grateful for the cooperation of the Government of the Republic of Cuba, the National Institute of Sport, Physical Education and Recreation, and the Cuban Box Federation. El patrocinador oficial de la Asociación Internacional de Boxeo es Gazprom. The official sponsor of the International Boxing Association is Gazprom. Hoy es un día especial para toda la comunidad del boxeo. Juntos celebramos el Día Internacional del Boxeo. Today is a special day for the world boxing community. Together, we celebrate International Boxing Day. Conmemoramos 50 años de que la Asociación Internacional de Boxeo celebrara el primer campeonato mundial en La Habana, Cuba. We commemorate 60 years since the International Boxing Association first even began in 1974 the Men's World Boxing Championship we held for the first time here in Havana, Cuba. Bienvenidos todos, welcome all of you. Es momento de presentar al equipo de oficiales que actuará en esta gran noche de campeones. It's time to present the official team that will be acting at the IBA Champion Night. Estará actuando como supervisor, will be acting supervisor, Mark William de Gales from Wales. Se desempeñarán como jueces y árbitros, will be acting as referees and judges, José Romero de España, from Spain, Luca Badilonga de Italia, from Italy, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala, from Guatemala, Veronica Stocks de Hungría, from Hungary. Como doctor en el ring es Dr. Rick Tai, José Piedra Cruz de México. Como controlador de tiempo, hasta timekeeper Carlos Gutiérrez de Cuba. Como operador de gong, as gong operator Santiago Sayas de Cuba. Damos paso al primer combate de la noche a 6 asaltos en la división de los 57 kilogramos. En la esquina dorada, representando a Rusia, Ruslan Belousov.
A very warm welcome, everybody, to Coliseo de Ciudad Deportiva in Havana, Cuba, and a very happy International Boxing Day to you all. We couldn't be in a better place because it was here in this venue, in this very ring, 50 years ago, that the first IBA World Championships were held back in 1974. That is why we are here, not that there is ever an excuse needed to visit this supersonic boxing island. This is Ruslan Belousov of Russia.
En la esquina negra, representando a los domadores de Cuba, Saidel Horta.
And the first home fighter we see is Saidel Horta. Also on the bill, Lazaro Alvarez, Erislandi Alvarez, Roniel Iglesias, Arlen Lopez, Julio Cruz. 10 World Championship gold medals, 7 Olympic gold medals, a whole host of American Championships and Pan American Championships between them. It's an incredible spectacle, this, to see them all boxing in front of a home crowd. And this is the first pro boxing card put on in Cuba since the 1950s. Horta got a silver at the Pan Ams last year and at the World Championships. At the Pan Ams, he lost to Jamal Harvey of the USA. At the World Championships, to Abdulmalik Kolokov.
esquina negra, Saidel Horta, subcampeón mundial, 22 años. Los jueces que actuarán en este combate son juez número 1, Verónica Sox, de Hungría, juez 2, Luca Badilonga, de Italia, y juez 3, José Romero, de España. El árbitro de este combate inicial es Emerson Pastor, de Guatemala.
So our referee calls these two to the centre. That's Horta on the left-hand side there, Belousov on the right. And there's the tail of the tape. So Belousov with a pretty sizable height advantage there. I wouldn't say there's that much in it in terms of reach between these two. He went to the Olympics in Paris, Horta, and was expected to go deep, but it just didn't work out for him. He lost his first fight on a 3-2 split to a fighter from Kyrgyzstan, and needless to say, that wasn't supposed to happen. But it's exactly what can happen in elite level boxing. So Horta in the black and Belousov in the white. Horta boxing out of the southpaw stance, as is Belousov. They're scheduled for 6. With 57 kilos, the featherweight division. Climbs into a big lead right hand there. Belousov wasn't quite a hook. Long left hand caught mainly on the gloves there. Nice up jab there from Horta. Belousov has definitely come here with some ambition. 4-0 as a pro. Did box as an amateur for Russia, but didn't make it to major tournaments. Looking for the overhand left there, Horta. Belousov was able to see that coming from quite a long way out. Really good crowd inside the Coliseo as well. Filling up all of the time. It holds 10,000. I don't think it'll be far off full before too long. Almost got caught there, Horta. Just dropped his height, shot that left hand straight down the middle, but did just lift up his chin a bit. Belousov, who boxes out of a slight crouch himself, nearly caught him. Comes quite square when he moves in, Belousov, as you can see there. There's that long left to the body, but a good left to the body from Belousov. Scored nicely with that one. Horta just pumping out that jab. I think he could do with using that a bit more. And again, as he just dips down and looks that left to the body, Belousov catches him. Not completely clean, it kind of ricocheted off the top of the head, but he's looking for that. So final 30 seconds. Well, there's blood coming from a cut in the hairline there, it looks like, of Belousov. So the corner will have a little bit of work to do on that. The right-hand side, the near side of his head as we look at it there. The far side now he's turned around and sat down, but the blood's running clear of the eye, so I don't think that's any kind of a problem. That will have been from a head clash. Decent opening round. Both fighters had some success. Not too much in it, that first 3 minutes. Everybody was up on stage in front of a good crowd in the Old Town this morning for the weigh-in. lot of interest in this card, has been ever since it was announced. Again, he's looking to get close there, Belousov. Really get low and look to wing in those hooks. Horta applying some pressure himself. Just came in a bit high there. The head's almost coming together. Belousov trying to jab his way in and then just didn't quite pull the trigger on the left hand there. Referee just giving the pair of them the chance to work that one out themselves as they got into a little bit of a clinch. And again, you see it there. When he drops those knees, when he dips those knees, Horta, and looks for that long left hand to the body, Belousov immediately looks to try and throw that right hand over the top. Tries to lead off with a hook there, Belousov, and didn't quite manage to find the target. It's a fight that's been fought in bursts, really, by the pair of them. That's some nice work there from Horta, moves off to his left-hand side after landing the left hand. Horta again just throwing the hook and then stepping off to his right-hand side is backwards to me, right above me. I'm not sure how clean it landed. Belousov on the inside there looks to let his own hands go and then has his right arm trapped on the blind side of the referee. Good jab from Horta into the final minute of round two. It's been a good fight, this, so far. Be interesting to see what happens as we head into the later stages. Horta, at 22 years old, will have very little experience of going beyond the three-minute rounds, none in fact. Whereas the likes of Cruz and Lazaro, Alvarez and Iglesias and Lopez, who we'll see later on, they boxed a lot of WSB, the 5 3-minute rounds. A competition which actually is returning next year. Boxing fans will be delighted to hear. But he hasn't got that. So when we go into the second half of this, it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. There is air conditioning in here. Hits you like a lovely cool blanket when you walk in through the doors, because this time of year in Havana it's about 33, 34 during the day, but the humidity is really, really high. If you're not used to it, which I'm certainly not, just walking around sees you dissolve in sweat in a matter of seconds, so I can't really imagine boxing in it, but the conditions in here are good. Jab there, just catching Belousov on the way in. It was interesting at the weigh-in, Belousov took to the scales wearing a baseball cap, a Cuba baseball cap, which I think had been given to him actually in the minutes preceding. Horta took it off Belousov's head, put it on his own head, and then when they turned around to square off, just chucked it into the crowd. I'm not sure what Belousov thought about that, but he didn't give too much away with his reaction. So into the third round, and the crowd here just trying to get behind Saidel Horta. Good left hand there from Horta. Punched down nicely. And looking for that jab. And he's not looking to mix it quite as much in this round, Horta. He's keeping it on the outside a bit more, which I think he would be well advised to do, because he's capable of doing it. He can tend to throw that jab, follow it with the left hand, and then just really move onto the shoulder. But there he just maintains the distance. Popped that 1-2 off. It didn't quite reach, but rather than chase it in, he just got those gloves back, which doesn't give Belousov much of an opportunity to answer it. Because he'll know, Horta, that at some point Belousov will come. He will come. There's that left hand into the body, and that time just pulled out really, really quickly. When Belousov has had success countering that, it's been because Horta has held his feet and stayed in there too long. Good left hand from Horta. Nicely timed left hand. And this is good from him in this third round. The first couple of rounds, there wasn't much to pick between these two, but he's controlled this round. And he's done it so far comfortably. I think really he maybe has just settled. And again there he throws the 1-2, but his feet stayed absolutely underneath him. And he just brought those gloves back. There's that right hand counter again. I think in the first couple of rounds the adrenaline was up. He's boxing at home. This is a big, big card. It's a big, big crowd. But he settled down in that third round. Maintained that distance. Picked his punches well. And there wasn't an awful lot that Belousov could do about it. There's that chopping left hand. So midway through this one, scheduled for 6. And this is his first fight in the pros, Horta. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles these next 3. He's got that habit that lots and lots of fighters, international amateurs, have got, where when they feel that they've landed a scoring punch, they'll raise that glove to try and signal to the judges at ringside that they landed an accurate blow. Again, just reaching long with that left hand. Throwing in combination there, but again just keeping that little bit more distance than he did in the first 2 rounds, so able to find the target a little bit more readily. Belousov has just got to try and keep the faith here to an extent and close that gap, try and walk Horta down in as educated a way as he can, move that head on the way in, don't just follow him around the ring, try and cut it off. All very easy things to say from where I am, but that's what he needs to do. He's just creeping in with that front foot, use that jab, try and move in behind that double jab and get into the range that he needs to be at, because if he ponders and takes too long, then he'll just get hit with that left as he comes in. I don't think I've actually ever been closer to a ring than I am tonight. The edge of my table that has my notes and equipment on it overlaps with the edge of the ring apron. Well, both of them just taking an opportunity there to have a few seconds rest, I think. The referee called break and then had to actually get in and separate them. Good combination there from Horta. Nice quick hands. In that kind of position, I think Belousov has got to commit and just let his hands go sooner. If he waits too long there, then you can kind of see him almost talking himself out of it. Once he gets close enough, he just needs to throw. There's a little bit of a swelling underneath the, well, around about the right cheekbone there of Saidel Horta. A good combination from Horta, but one came back from Belousov. Maybe we'll get another look at that on the right-hand side of his face. So that side of his face there, nearest to us as we're looking at it, that's a big swelling, which you would imagine has come from a clash of heads. He's over on the far side of the ring to me, and I'm just getting a look at it now, and actually it's maybe not quite as bad as I originally thought, but something has happened there. He's taken a bang on the cheekbone. And there you just see it on the near side there. The way the light caught it earlier on, it looked like it was coming up quite quick, but it's not going to be any kind of a problem, I don't think. So into round 5. Ruslan Belousov in the white, Saidel Horta of Cuba in the black. It's a good counter from Belousov, 2-3 jabs there. A left hand as well from Horta. Belousov just rolled underneath one and through the right. And he's got to keep working here, the Russian. He needs to keep working hard because there are signs here, I think, that Horta might be feeling the pace a touch. But he scored there. Again, he's just trying to cover off that movement here, Belousov. He's done a pretty good job of that for most of this fight. He's just got to let his hands go in there. Horta comes off the ropes and manages to get a hold of him. Round 3 was a clear round for Saidel Horta. Other than that, there's not been an awful lot in the rest of them. I'd say on the whole he has picked the better punches of the two, but in terms of volume, I don't think there's an awful lot in it. That was a nice combination to the body there from Horta. And this is a time where Belousov really needs to try and put his foot on the gas here, because if those energy levels are running low for Horta, he needs to find out. He needs to take full advantage of it. And again, just quickens up his feet there across the ring. Throws a jab. Good right hand on the inside there from Belousov. That was a lovely shot. Horta managed to turn him into the ropes, but that was a very well-timed punch by Belousov. Again, looks to try and come in behind the jab, and the left hand over the top lands. Last few seconds of round 5. Horta makes a miss there at the end of the round, but there's a good right hand, a nice up jab there from Belousov, which just caught the Cuban. And there goes the bell at the end of the 5th. And I think this is set up quite nicely, because I won't be at all surprised if through 5 rounds this is 3-2 to Horta. I think in a couple of those early rounds, he maybe picked the better punches. He definitely won round 3. These last 2, I would say that Belousov won that one. So a big final round here from the Russian. And he could get something here. Good right hand that was too. Just having a good look at the pair of them in their corners, and you can see Horta just take a big puff of air. Belousov away to my right hand side. Looks like he might just have a little bit more left. We'll find out. 3 minutes remaining. So touch your gloves. This is our opening fight of the night, of what is an absolutely cracking card. The kind of card where when you see it announced, you just want to be at it. Good jab from Horta. Nice one too. Pulled out nice and quick after he threw the left hand. And Belousov has got to get on Horta here. He's got to get right on him and make him work for every second of this round. Jab to the body. He was slightly lucky there, Belousov, because he didn't commit there at all, really, in the way that he needed to. The jab was very tentative. He moved in behind it anyway. Was stuck in no man's land a bit, but luckily for him, nothing came back from Horta. He was in prime position to be countered. He looked for that left hand over the top there and landed it. The jab was slightly short, but this time he did commit, moved in, chucked that left hand over the top, and that collided with the face of Horta, absolutely no question. And again, that right hand, nice jab, just catches Horta on the way in. And this has been a good competitive fight right from the very start. Belousov must feel that he's got more in the tank here than Horta, the way this is going. He must do. 90 seconds remaining. He needs to try and make it count. Blood coming from a cut on the corner of the right eye there of Saidel Horta. I didn't see the punch that could have caused that land. In that kind of territory, it's more likely to be a clash of heads, and that's what's signalled there by referee Emerson Pastor. If the doctor decides to stop this, then we'll go to the cards, of course. And well, it's actually just on the cheekbone, and I think there's another one just on the corner of the eye as well. And where that cut on the cheekbone has come up is directly on top of that swelling that we saw from earlier on. Just over a minute remaining. The heads come together on the inside again there, which I think has been responsible for pretty much all of the damage on that side of Horta's face, to be honest. And he's just blinking, just dabbing the blood away, and Belousov is going for it here, which he absolutely should. There's that left hand over the top again there. That's done some good work for him. There's quite a lot of blood coming from that cut, and if this was earlier in the fight, then I think we wouldn't have made it through to the end. But given that we've got just over 30 seconds remaining, well, not quite as much as that actually. The clapper's just gone, looking for that big left hand again there. Belousov, sneaky little right on the inside. There goes the bell at the end. A touch of gloves between the two. Horta mounts that corner post, celebrates with the Cuban fans. I'll make that a close fight. I'll make that a close fight. I think he'll get it. I think in the early rounds he picked the better punches. A clear round win in round 3. A clear round win in round 5 of Belousov, I felt. Other than that, there wasn't all that much in this fight. So the away corner fighter there, I think, has brought some good heat, and you see the damage to the face there of Horta. That cut on the cheekbone, a cut on the corner of the eye, there's some swelling as well. That's not how you judge who has won a fight. I always find it nonsensical when people claim that, but he will certainly know he's been in one when he wakes up tomorrow. RMC Camillo Perez just slipping through the ropes up above me. Emerson Pastor has called these two to the middle. Our scoring judges at ringside. Three in total.
La decisión del primer combate de la noche en la división de los 57 kilogramos. El ganador por decisión unánime en la esquina negra de los domadores de Cuba,
Saidel Horta gets it by unanimous decision. We didn't get the scores there from RMC. He gets the win. But it was a good fight, and Ruslan Belousov put plenty into that. Really good way to open the show, and nice there to see Horta get the crowd to give him that ovation, and just gifted him a little bit of Cuban kit, which I can tell you is much sought after. You cannot buy it in the shops. You have to hunt high and low for it. Big night for Horta. As I said, he's a young man. He's broken into that Cuban team in relatively recent times. Has plenty of experience now, but this isn't something he's really done before. It's not something that any of the fighters boxing on this card have done before in these kinds of circumstances. With this being the first pro card in Cuba for such a long time. And I think early on he was a bit too full of adrenaline, and that can drain your tank quite quickly, and I think he was feeling it towards the end there, but a lot of that was down to the fact that the man in front of him just kept bringing the pressure there. Belousov. Good fight.
En la división de 63,5 kilogramos. En la esquina dorada, representando Uzbekistan, Mujibillo Tursunov.
Making his way to the ring now, Mujibillo Tursunov of Uzbekistan. This next fight, a light welterweight, 63.5 kilos. Tursunov 4-0 as a pro, but has kept his elite amateur career going alongside that. Got to the quarterfinals at lightweight in the World Championships last year. Won the Stranja tournament last year, actually. I saw him at the World Champs in Serbia in 2021 when he got to the last 8 there, but then ran into Andy Cruz, which at that stage was terminal, because Cruz was in the middle of that rampant spell, towards the end of it actually. A silver medal at the World Military Games too, so he's a good fighter, Tursunov.
Representando a los domadores de Cuba, Lazaro Alvarez.
Lazaro Alvarez, such a decorated fighter, 3-time world champion, 2011, 2013, 2015, 3-time Pan American champion, and a 3-time Olympic bronze medalist. Long-time teammate of Iglesias, Lopez on the Cruz. We will see over the course of the evening, two-time WSB winner.
En la esquina dorada de Uzbekistan, Mujibillo, Tursunov, 24 años, récord 4 victorias sin derrotas. En la esquina negra de los domadores de Cuba, Lazaro, Alvarez, 33 años. 3 veces medallista olímpico, 3 veces campeón mundial, récord 6 victorias sin derrotas. Los jueces que actuarán en este combate: juez número 1, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala; juez número 2, Verónica Sachs de Hungría; juez número 3, Luca Batilonga de Italia. El árbitro de este combate es José Romero de España.
Jose Romero, our referee. Six 6-0 as a pro, Alvarez. 4-0 Tursunov. The main difference between the two of them there is the age. Alvarez, 33 years old, an awful lot of fights under his belt. Didn't make it to the recent Olympic Games in Paris. Saidel Horta, we've just seen, went at 57 kilos. Erislandi Alvarez, who we'll see a little bit later, went at 63.5 in this weight division and won gold, of course. Alvarez in the black, Tursunov in the white. Just reaching for the left hand a little bit there, Alvarez. That back foot came up off the canvas and round. Looking for that left into the body there, Alvarez. I think he caught the left hand on the way in from Tursunov, who's nice and balanced, well set up, compact. That's good from Tursunov, just moving that head. Letting that long left hand from Alvarez just slide over his shoulder. Neither one of these two has really found their range yet. Tursunov just creeping in with that front foot. He needs to get close, dipping at the waist. Sends the right hand into the body. Good left hand there from Alvarez, just caught Tursunov as he was opening out. That put him straight back on his heels. Perfectly timed. Just trying to hook off the ropes there, Tursunov, but I think he was shaken by that shot. Looking at his eyes, he seems okay, but he definitely felt that. That was all about the timing. He'd come a bit square, Tursunov, was trying to open out with his right hand. He was standing a little bit tall, and as he came in, Alvarez just whipped that left hand up like a rattlesnake and just clipped him. Just feinting with that front foot there, Tursunov, trying to draw something from Alvarez without too much success, heading towards the last 30 seconds of round one. Now the bell goes. Uzbekistan had a fantastic time at the recent Olympic Games. 5 gold medals, outshone everybody, Cuba included. That's in the men's category, of course. That was that left hand. that will have been enough to take the round for Alvarez. Very, very eye-catching shot. Other than that, neither one really landed an awful lot that was all that clean. Into the second, and Tursunov immediately just looking to try and just alter the level of his head, alter that height, flex those knees, keep those shoulders rolling, keep those shoulders moving, particularly when he gets into that pocket within punching range. He's got to keep that head on the move. Right hand into the body there from Tursunov. He's looking nice and busy here, but this will take it out of him. He's up on his toes more than he was in the first round. Looks to whip that right hand long into the body again. Good jab from Alvarez. He's much more economical in his movements. There's that left hand again. Good left hand again there from Alvarez. Tursunov, though, got nice and close there, and although he did wear one on the way in, this is what he's going to need to do, really. He's got to try and keep that pressure on Alvarez as much as he possibly can. Again, the 1-2 there from Alvarez was solid, but it was mostly taken on the gloves from Tursunov. He's got to try and maintain this tempo and trust that he will get to his man over the course of these 6 rounds. He cannot box at Alvarez's pace and allow him to dictate the tempo. And caught by left hand again there as he slightly lost his balance as he was heading towards the ropes. With these kinds of tactics, it's in the second half really that he'll see the reward from them if it does indeed come. And some good exchanges here. Left hand into the body from Tursunov, but again, that left hand working for Alvarez. There's some blood coming from the left eye there of Lazaro Alvarez. And there's a cut just under the eyebrow, I think. And he's wiping that blood away. It's in a place where I think the blood probably is going to go into the eye. It's not running clear, and you can see him again just dab at it there. So that is a problem for him. Nice left hand there, and Tursunov has seen it and he's encouraged by it, and he's really looking to get after him now. Bell goes at the end of the second, and that was another Alvarez round. He picked some sweet shots in there, but it'd be good to get a look at that left eye, because that's not great, that cut. Looking at it in real time, it was very difficult to see how deep it is, but it looks to me like it's sort of central just under the eyebrow. Well, you see it there, it's towards the left-hand side, towards his left-hand side. So heading towards the corner of the eye, but just not quite far enough in the corner, I don't think, that the blood's going to run clear. That could have been it there. He does bring that head in quite low, Tursunov. He's got a slightly clumsy look about him when he's coming forward. So he lost that round, he's lost these first 2 rounds, Tursunov, but he needs to just keep the faith. Believe that if he can keep applying the pressure that he can get to his man, maybe in the second half. And there is that cut. I don't think it was caused by a punch, but it will encourage him anyway. Just comes up with a left hand there, Alvarez, as he was just being backed up towards the corner. Good left hand into the body there from Alvarez. 2 or 3 of them landed. The right hand came back from Tursunov, and again there, but Alvarez had those gloves up. They've done a good job on that cut in the corner. It hasn't come open again yet in this round. Just punched his way back into centre ring there, Alvarez. Again, Tursunov here, just in behind that guard, just trying to back him up towards the ropes. But he's clever, Alvarez, at just making enough space for himself and just catching Tursunov on the way in. The ref just having a word about keeping the head up, and a rueful nod there from Tursunov, because I don't think there's really all that much he can do about it, to be honest. It's a stylistic thing for him. He has that high guard, and he does get quite low as he moves forward. Good body shot from Alvarez. Nice combination there as Tursunov was stood a little bit too still within punching range. As he moves in there, he's got to do something to Tursunov. He has to throw something. He can't just walk in on someone like this Cuban. Again, he's in range there, and Alvarez is able to let his hands go. Most of it was blocked. That's good head movement from Tursunov. And he is sticking to his guns here, right hand, but that was blocked mainly by Alvarez, who again just takes that little half step back and creates a space for himself as Tursunov comes forward. Left hand into the body from Alvarez, and then switches up to the head. Right hand from Tursunov lands just before the bell. A little bit of a lingering look between the two. Alvarez, as he has been for such a long time, a very difficult man to pin down. Both of these two up early off their stools as we head into the second half. This one's scheduled for 6. This is IBA Champions Night, coming to you from Coliseo de la Ciudad Deportiva, Havana, Cuba, on International Boxing Day. And again, right at the start of the round, Tursunov just gathers those gloves, hunches those shoulders, and looks to try and swagger in on Lazaro Alvarez as best he can. But Alvarez, you look at his feet, and they're just always the same distance apart. Where one goes, the other one follows. He's just able to create that little bit of distance as Tursunov comes forward. Good example there. Throws that one to Tursunov. Coming in, gets caught by that left hand a couple of times. An uppercut and then a straight left hand. And as I said previously, he's sticking to the plan here, Tursunov, but it's just not really yet paying any dividends for him. Against a mercurial fighter, I think you could describe Alvarez as. Possibly not as mercurial as he was a few years ago, but still very, very good. Good defense there from Alvarez. He let his hands go there to Tursunov, but the gloves were up. And they really have done well with that cut to Cuban corner, because that looked to me like that could be a problem, because there was enough blood coming from it, and you could tell by the way he was dabbing at it that he was having to clear it out of his eye. But it's barely opened up again since. Just setting his feet there, Alvarez, and looking to sink the left hand in particular. Long overhand right there from Tursunov. Just about got to the target, but again there, that left glove comes up from Alvarez and blocks that right hand. The all-round skills are still very much on point. Good left hand from Alvarez. Just snuck that one in round the back of the guard, found the gap. And again, and that left hand just crunches into the chin there of Tursunov. He won't be discouraged, the Uzbek fighter. He keeps coming forward, but he's been caught again and again. Into the fifth. That long left hand of Alvarez, that long uppercut almost that he throws. It's one of those shots that travels further than the opponent think it's capable of travelling. Looking to lead off with a left hook there to Tursunov. He wasn't far away with that one. And again, there's a lot of effort being put in here by the Uzbek. That has been right from the start. Nice left hand into the body there. Was short with the uppercut, but followed through. A right hand lead there. And he's still trying to bring the heat here, the boxer in white. And just some signs in the first minute of round 5 that he might be starting to get somewhere. He's 4 rounds down here, so he needs something pretty significant in these final 2. And this is a big effort from him in round 5 so far. Well, that was a little bit cheeky there from Alvarez. Tursunov just gave him a little tap back. He's having a good round here, Tursunov. His best round of the fight, I would say. He just needs to stick to his guns here. Good left hand there, though, from Alvarez, but good combination there from Tursunov. He's caught by another left as he comes in. But as I said earlier in the fight, it was always going to be this way when you look at the 2 styles. But digging his toes in, looking for the uppercut, and then as he tried to let that right hand go again, a little bit like he was in that first round, he just walked onto a left hand and was rocked onto his heels. And this is the difficulty he's got, because the first minute and a half of this round, he was bringing some good pressure, Alvarez wasn't doing all that much punching, and he was on top. Certainly the visual was that he was on top, but in the second half of the round, he's got a little bit more ragged because he's feeling the heat himself in there, particularly boxing the way that he has. The gaps have appeared, and Alvarez has taken advantage of them. And that's what makes it such a difficult job. You have to really, really try and put a fighter like that under pressure. Exactly the same thing with somebody like Julio La Cruz, who we'll see later on. You've got to try and put them under just the highest degree of educated pressure you can, but that's hard. It takes it out of you, and if your shape and technique goes a bit, then they will find the gaps, and Tursunov isn't a guy who's got watertight technique in any case. Good lead left uppercut there. He's put a real shift in here, Tursunov, but unless he knocks Lazaro Alvarez out in this final round, then he's going to lose this fight. And Alvarez has been good to watch here. Very, very happy to mix it. Left hand there from Alvarez. Sweat just spraying all over me. Those two are right above me on the ropes there. Right hand from Tursunov. And I think we're going to get a good final round here, because Uzbek will continue to bring it, and Alvarez, I'm pretty sure, will meet him. He'll know that he's a mile ahead here, Alvarez, but that is not going to see him just cover up and get on his bike for the remaining 2 minutes. That is not going to happen. Nice sharp left hand into the body there from the Cuban. Right hand comes back from Uzbek. Alvarez just chasing after Belousov a little bit there with the right hand. And just trying to grab a bit of a rest there, I think, Tursunov. Getting a hold of Alvarez and not letting him go, because, as I've been saying, he's put a massive effort in this fight, Tursunov, right from the very start. Good left hand into the body there from Alvarez. Gestures to the crowd who respond, and then rattles off another combination. He's put everything into this, the visitor. Alvarez has been nice and loose, letting those hands go. Good head movement again there, just sways back and stays out of the way. And blood just coming from that cut again for the first time really since it opened up. But there's not long to go now. And as I said previously, seeing the likes of this guy and Julio La Cruz and Lopez and Ronnie Iglesias, who've been international teammates for so long, all on the same card here in Havana, is an absolute privilege. They boxed on that same Cuban Domadores team many times in their home country, but given the stages of their careers that they're at, you just feel that this is a bit different. We won't necessarily see it again. I could be wrong, but there goes the final bell, and Alvarez celebrating the win. Just bouncing up and down on the corner post. And he's won every round there. But like the fighter who boxed out of the home corner in the fight before him, Ruslan Belousov, Mujibillo Tursunov there has given it everything he's got. but he just couldn't catch up often enough with a man who down the years has proved himself to be a master craftsman.
La decisión del segundo combate de la noche en la división de los 63,5 kilogramos. El ganador por votación unánime en la esquina negra de los domadores de Cuba, Lazaro.
Winner by unanimous decision. A clear win, a good performance. As befits a man who has accomplished what he has. 3 gold medals at IBA World Championships, 3 at Pan American Games and 3 bronze medals at Olympic Games. 2-time WSB winner, it's quite the haul. And Tursunov in the middle of the ring now, getting a good ovation from the crowd too, which is absolutely right.
Vamos entonces con el tercer combate de la noche. A 6 asaltos en la división de 63,5 kilogramos. En la esquina dorada de Colombia, José Ignacio Munoz.
Jose Munoz joining us from Colombia, 23 years old. 16 wins and 3 defeats. He's won a Colombian lightweight title in his time. I saw him box in the UK in April last year. He was at York Hall, which is a famous old Coliseum of British boxing in the East End, and he found himself in with Havana Bachkov, the Armenian fighter who's won multiple medals at elite level. Got stopped in the 6th round there by body shots, no shame in that. Lost a fight in Russia this year, over 10 rounds against an undefeated fighter Murad Aliyev. But won his last one, a first-round knockout in Colombia in late April.
En la esquina negra de los domadores de Cuba, Erislandi Alvarez.
Huge cheer for Erislandi Alvarez. He won Cuba's only gold medal in Paris a few weeks ago. And his final against Sofian Umehar was absolutely sensational. Those two had met in the World Championships at 60 kilos a year before in Tashkent, and Umehar, who's been a brilliant fighter, 3-time IBA World Champion, won on that occasion, but at 63.5 at the Olympic Games, Alvarez got the win. It was a brilliant fight. An absolutely brilliant fight, and you can see that he just loves the bigger cage and he feels that he's really made for it. 3-0 as a pro. Rolando Acebal there, the long-time Cuban head coach in the corner. vaults over that top rope. Not too many spare seats in the arena now. Luca Vadalonga, our referee. Quite similar, these two, physically, when you look at them. Although Alvarez has got a slightly more solid appearance to him, wider shoulders. Whereas Munoz looks like what he is really, which is a fighter who's coming up in weight. Alvarez, interestingly, one of those boxers who chooses not really to engage with his opponent in the middle of the ring. For the final instructions, he was gazing over Munoz's shoulder into the middle distance. Nice quick jab there from Alvarez. Long right hand gets through. And he's quickly into his work here, Alvarez, and looking to launch that right hand. Munoz trying to fire back. Good left hand there from Alvarez. That caught Munoz, but he manages to get his gloves back up. This is a torrid start, though, for our visitor. He needs to try and get a hold of Alvarez here if he possibly can, and tie him up and buy a little bit of time, because we've only had a minute here, but he's on the receiving end. Right hand comes back there from Munoz, and he does get a hold of Alvarez, and the referee comes and splits the two apart. Just short with the right hand there, Alvarez. Turns southpaw. Munoz has got through that first minute or so. Long right hand again there from Alvarez, scores, and Munoz just throwing out of the corner there, and his chin came right up in the air as he threw a right hand. And if Alvarez had been coming back with something at that point, then that could have been a big problem, but Munoz certainly is not lacking in the minerals department here, because he's been under the gun from the beginning, but he's backing himself to land some shots. An uppercut there from Alvarez almost got through. A left hand did get through there from Munoz around the back of the guard. Closing stages of round one, and things have settled a bit in this final minute of the three. Alvarez throwing that right hand off the back of a nice rangy jab. Little nod at the head between the two of them there. You could see it the way in today that Munoz was bang up for this. Playing to the crowd. I think they're telling him in the corner that he just needs to try and keep a clearer head as best he can, and that's easy to say. It's the right advice, but when you're in this kind of situation, you're boxing in this kind of arena with, I would say, probably about 8,000 in here by now, maybe a few more actually, and the crowd is up. and you're in with a guy who a few weeks ago won an Olympic gold medal in absolutely rip-roaring fashion, then maintaining a completely cool head is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And he's a young man too. He does need to just try and settle a little bit, which he did towards the end of that first round. Partly due to the fact, though, that Alvarez took his foot off the gas a little bit. Alvarez going southpaw at the start of the second. Now back to orthodox, dips to his left-hand side and looks to throw that right hand over the top, following the jab. Munoz steps in and looks for that big overhand himself. Right hand on the inside there from Munoz, I think got through. And he does look just that bit more composed in the second round now. As I say that, he throws that left hook, his chin comes right up in the air, and the uppercut from Alvarez wasn't far away. Switching between stances here, Alvarez, sometimes coming in quite square. Good quick lead hook there from Alvarez. That's neat from Alvarez. Left hook, then rolled away to his right-hand side and then landed the right hand. Quieter second round. Alvarez just covering up nicely there, tucking the chin behind the shoulder, getting that right glove up. Left hand into the body was a good shot, and it just caused Munoz to back off slightly. I wonder if he felt that. I think he may well have done. Fancy footwork and fine reflexes to finish the round there for Erislandi Alvarez. A quite around that second one compared to the first, but they did go at it pretty much on the B of the bang there at the beginning of the first round. Alvarez knows that potentially he's got 6 rounds to negotiate here. He has had 3 pro fights against no serious opposition. His last one was in Dubai in January. That was over 6. A comfortable outing. And this is the crowd in attendance. The World Championships, as I said, started here 50 years ago. In this very ring, we saw the likes of Teofilo Stevenson of Cuba, Wilfredo Gomez of Puerto Rico, Matapalov from what was then known as Yugoslavia, Ayub Kalule of Uganda, Howard Davis of the USA, all letting their hands go. Good left hand there from Alvarez. It looks for the uppercut. Right hand into the body. Left hand again, just short. That one landed though. These two right up above me. Nice combination. The right hand got through, and then Munoz manages to get hold of Alvarez. And he did well too, because he was on the receiving end there, Munoz. He's got a habit when he's under pressure and backed up to the ropes, he'll fling and left hook Munoz, and that chin comes right up in the air. He did it again there. And again, he got away with it. And you just get the feeling that Alvarez can click into that higher gear almost whenever he feels like it and really put his man under some pressure. He's using that higher gear relatively sparingly in these early stages, but when he does look for it, it won't just be one combination. He'll look to keep that tempo really high for a good 10-15 seconds, which might not sound like very long, but in terms of the amount of punches he's able to throw in that time, is a long time. Nice right hand there from Munoz, was in tight, threw it over the top, nice shallow arc to it. Good body attack there from Alvarez. The upper body movement was really, really good, and then just rattled a couple off to the rib cage. Right to the body from Alvarez, just feinting to the head almost with the jab, and then the right hand downstairs. Munoz just gesturing to Alvarez, come on, let's get in the middle of the ring and let our hands go. And Alvarez just couldn't resist the bait there. He fell for that one, hook, line and sinker. And Munoz again there just looks to try and rip with that left hand. And the away corner fighters so far tonight have given really good value. Every single one of them really come to fight, and that should always be the case, but it's not always, because sometimes fighters will come and they know they're up against it and they'll cover up and they'll look to get through. And Munoz is getting an absolute volley in the corner there. At times he's a little bit reckless, but he's come to have a fight here, and I've got all the time in the world for that. There's that left hand that lands from Alvarez. And when he's in a bit of trouble and under pressure, his instinct is to throw and leave himself slightly open. But just there where he fell in and grabbed a hold of Alvarez, that was good, that was what he needed to do. But he wants to have a fight here. And I don't think it really matters too much what the corner says to him. That is what he's going to do. Into the second half of this one, scheduled for 6. 63.5 kilos. Light welterweight, super lightweight. Take your pick. Long right hand there from Alvarez. He's in the black. Jose Munoz of Colombia, originally Venezuela, in the white. Alvarez is backing him into the corner there. Munoz picks up that back foot, that front foot. He didn't fall for it though. He wants it in the centre. Alvarez looking to try and wind up with that right hand. But what's interesting about this for someone like Alvarez is that in elite amateur boxing, opponents don't do this. You can't do this. The referee will not allow it. That kind of gesturing and showboating and that bit of chat. But in professional boxing, referees will let a lot more go. Good long left hand there out of the southpaw stance from Alvarez. Lovely left hand into the body there, got good distance on that, really dug his toes in. That left was low, that was low. I had a great view of that. I was right behind that, and that was low. He'll be given time here, Munoz. He doesn't need to rush. You can get as much as 5 minutes to recover from a low blow. He won't take 5 minutes, but he would be advised just to take as long as he needs. You don't need to rush back into action and try and prove a point. Take the time. And that was low, you can see there. That was bang on the cup. Nice overhand right there from Munoz. Just sent the sweat spraying off the head of Alvarez. It goes down to the body again there. And I think he's doing some decent work to the body, Alvarez. That left that we saw that was low was one thing, but he's landed quite a few good, sweet body shots that have been perfectly legal. In the final minute of round 4, there's another one there, just stabbing to the rib cage with that right hand. Loaded up with a left hand there, Alvarez didn't quite land it. Uppercut, got through, cracked the chin there of Munoz. Right hand, I thought was probably just about okay actually, but the referee had a better view. We'll probably get to see it again. He was probably on the belt. I thought maybe on the top end of the belt, but Luca Vallelonga was even closer than I am. Well, there goes the bell at the end of the 4th, and he took in a big gulp of air as he heads for the corner there, Jose Munoz. I think he's starting to feel this now, and I think that's mainly down to the bodywork of his opponents. Corner's still very vocal with him. I don't think he's really going to change his approach here, so they've just got to try and get him through this. Encourage him, pick out small things, little things, something to leave him with as he gets up off the stool. Fighters often say that the last thing they're told in there, in the break between rounds, is the one thing that they'll remember, particularly if it's getting tough. And it is tough in there for Munoz. It was always going to be. This guy is serious news. So into the 5th. It'll be interesting to see if Alvarez can just turn the screw a bit here. Keep going to that body. Started slow in this 5th round. Alvarez just circling around Munoz, who's holding that centre for the most part. Just pushed him off with a forearm there, Alvarez. I think the referee didn't really see that. He looked for the long left hand as he was kind of switching stances, and then just gave a little bit of a shove with the forearm. It didn't lead to anything. That's good from Munoz. Took his feet in there. Got some weight on that left hand to the body. You just get the sense that Alvarez is waiting for an opportunity here, though. He's waiting to explode into action. Chopping down with the right hand there. Munoz just caught on the ropes. The right hand crashes through onto his jaw. And he's setting those feet now, Alvarez. And Munoz needs to try and get hold if he can. Keep that guard up. Dips his knees well there and slides under the right hand. And now does grab hold. He's trapping that glove, and the referee will have a word about this in a second. He's trapped both gloves. And then Alvarez was able to get free and continue to punch. Luca Vadalonga in close attendance there, 2 or 3 got through, but Munoz did land a shot himself just before that. He's always coming back with enough here, but this is getting tough. This is getting tough. But there's a right hand from Munoz. It doesn't do much to discourage Alvarez. But he's landing. When he needs something, he's finding something. But it's pretty much one-way traffic. Alvarez just looking to try and sink that right-handed through the guard, but again, a left hand comes back from Munoz. This is brave from the Colombian fighter. He's really looking to hang in there, left to the body. There's a good shot, and then Alvarez just short with a long uppercut. That'll go to the end of the 5th, and again, it's a good fight to watch this. The question is can Erislandi Alvarez in this 6th and final round just bring that concerted pressure, click into that high gear, and basically just stay there and get this job done? I feel like he can, because there's enough coming back from Munoz in those rough passages to mean that the referee, I don't think he's ever really been close to jumping in, but I do think that's a possibility in this final round. If Alvarez just keeps working, keeps letting those hands go, 2-3 phases, and if he pins him on the ropes and all of a sudden not much is coming back, then Luca Vadalonga might at that point be tempted to step in and say that that's enough. Sixth and final round, a touch of gloves between the two. Here we go. But Alvarez might be feeling the pace himself. This has been lively right from the beginning. And there's a nice long right hand again, though, from Alvarez. Munoz on the retreat here, and that right crashes into the guard. And that one evades the guard. And this is where he wants him here, Alvarez. Lovely stabbing left hand to the body. Just backs him up. Long left uppercut, looking for the right hand. And again to the body. He's never neglected that all of the way through. That was a bit low potentially, but I don't think it really landed. He's thrown a lot of punches in there tonight, Erislandi Alvarez, and I think what we can see in this final round is that he is feeling the pace of this as well. I'm not sure if he's necessarily got it in him to launch that one last really big assault, or 2 or 3 assaults that he could probably need to maybe force a stoppage here. It's not that important whether he gets one or not, but fighters always do want them. Hand there from Alvarez, and he did there, Munoz, exactly what he's been doing all fight. He then dropped his gloves and looked to just fling in that left hook. That's good movement from Alvarez. Just busies up those hands on the inside. Munoz not far from the finish line now, and I think he'll get a good ovation from this Cuban crowd, because they've seen somebody come to mix it right from the beginning here, in with someone who is just quite simply a better fighter in every aspect, but he's never let that discourage him. And I think he's realised, Erislandi Alvarez, that the inside the distance win isn't going to happen here, but he's won every single round of this fight, and he's done so in good fashion. Munoz just working those hands right up to the final belt. There goes the belt. It's been quite the few weeks for Erislandi Alvarez, winning that Olympic gold medal at the start of August, and here just 2.5, 3 weeks later, boxing in front of a packed Coliseo de la Ciudad Deportiva. It doesn't get much better for a Cuban fighter.
La decisión del tercer combate de la noche en la división de los 63,5 kilogramos. El ganador por votación unánime en la esquina negra de los domadores de Cuba,
Unanimous decision for Erislandi Alvarez. A good performance against another opponent who really came to fight and made it a good spectacle. And I think you would call this Havana crowd a knowledgeable crowd, and they salute the effort there given by Jose Munoz. Landed the black flip, which takes some doing after 6 hard rounds.
esquina dorada de Armenia, Gurgen Madoyan.
6 rounds in the welterweight division we have here. This is Gurgen Madoyan from Armenia. It's boxed to the last couple of European Championships, last couple of World Championships. fell short of qualifying for the Paris Olympics, but an experienced campaigner. This is his first professional outing.
Los tomadores de Cuba, Ronnie Iglesias.
36 years old now, Iglesias has been at this top level for what seems like forever. He won his first Cuban national senior title when he was just 16 back in 2005, so almost 20 years he has been at elite level. 2008, he won a bronze medal at the Olympics. The year after that, he won an IBA World Championship, an Olympic gold in 2012, another one in Tokyo for the 2020 Olympics, Pan Am's American Championships, WSB, you name it. Like others on this card, he has done it.
Armenia, Gurgen, Madoyan, 26 años, hizo su debut en el año 2012, balance de 28-24. En victorias y derrotas en la esquina negra de los tomadores de Cuba, Ronnie Iglesias, de 36 años, 2 veces campeón olímpico, 2 veces campeón mundial. Su balance, 4 victorias sin derrotas. Los jueces que actuarán en esta pelea son juez número 1, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala, juez número 2, Luca Batilonga de Italia, juez número 3, José Romero de España. La referee de este combate será Verónica Sox de Hungría.
Ten years separates these two, and an awful lot of experience, but that would generally be the case whoever Iglesias fights. I outlined that CV during his ring walk, and to describe it as extensive would be a gross understatement. I've no idea how many contests he would actually have had, but when you consider that he won that first senior national title at 2005, if you add in junior bouts, youth bouts, then nearly 20 years worth of boxing for Cuba, and they travel, they box a lot, then I'd say you're looking at 600-700 fights, maybe more. Iglesias in the black, Madoyan in the white. Right hand to the body there from Madoyan. Front foot there of Iglesias just slipped a little bit as he stepped into the jab. Snapping that jab out nice and sharp, Iglesias. Left hand lead that time. Madoyan just making fun of Iglesias there a little bit. Iglesias just double jab to the head, tap to the head really, then went down to the stomach with the left hand, so distracted with the jab and then landed to the body, and Madoyan obviously wasn't too impressed by that. I'm never sure it's an amazing idea to pull the tiger's tail, but I've got all the time in the world for fighters who decide they want to. And again, Madoyan there just almost giving Iglesias a few little pointers. Oh, that was the instant in that first round. He's boxed on a couple of Champions Nights, Roniel Iglesias. Lost to Marco Verde in Mexico in his last one. Verde, who got to the final at the recent Olympics at 71 kilos. He has had a win as well, though, Iglesias, against Dulat Bekbaov. 4 other pro fights, all wins. Cuba lifting that ban on pro boxing in 2022, this being the first pro card that they've hosted since then. Professional sport was banned on the island in the early 60s. That ban got partially lifted just over 10 years ago, back in 2013, and boxing took its time, I guess, in deciding that they needed to lift their own ban, but it's happened now. That right hand was taken on the forearm, on the elbow there by Iglesias, who gets through with the left there. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to achieve here, Madoyan, with the gesturing, but as I said previously, I'm never against it. But Iglesias is one of these characters whose demeanour very rarely changes. He's impossible to read. He doesn't portray any emotion whatsoever when he's in the ring. The crowd enjoyed that from Madoyan, but it won't affect Iglesias at all. Good right hand to the body there from Madoyan. He just steps in and lets a couple go. He's absolutely holding his own here, but it's Iglesias who's controlling things. Good right hand into the body there from him. Likes to get close and then just really dig the shots in. He's a sharp puncher. And again, Madoyan with the, not quite histrionics, but with the gestures. If that's what you need to do to fire yourself up and get the juices flowing, then fair enough, but there can be a bit of a tipping point with it, where if you do it too much, you basically begin to distract yourself. And that's the range he likes at Iglesias. That mid-range where he's just got enough space and he just throws those short, real sharp digs. Right-handed to the body there from Madoyan. When he throws, you can see the effort on his face. It's writ large. They're so different, these two, in terms of their demeanour. As I said, Iglesias is sphinx-like. He doesn't betray any emotion whatsoever, doesn't give any reaction to anything that happens, good or bad. Whereas Madoyan he's an emotional fighter, you can see it. Jab to the body there from Iglesias. Madoyan comes marauding forward. He's very good at controlling the fight with that front foot, Iglesias. He's on you, he's taking his space, making you feel like you're under pressure. He's quite sparing with what he throws. And as Madoyan looks to try and come forward there, just uses those feet to pull all the way back and stay out of range. He makes you work hard. That's good though from Madoyan. Nice couple of body shots. But he is generally being manoeuvred around the ring by Iglesias rather than the other way around. Wild staring eyes on Madoyan there as he just tried to land something. Madoyan putting maximum effort in there, and a couple got through towards the end as he pursued Iglesias. The referee just giving Madoyan a bit of a slap on the back there. He wasn't answering the call to break quite as quickly as she would have liked. Right hand from Madoyan was pretty much bang on the belt line. And then Iglesias at the end of the round there just nips those feet in, throws that quick combination. So halfway through this one, these first four fights all scheduled for 6, the next one's 8. Between Arlen Lopez and Luis Tejeda. And then top of the bill, 10 rounds between Julio Cruz and Saydrakhimov. So into the fourth, Iglesias in the black, Madoyan in the white, front feet just tangling there. Good jab from Iglesias, just knocked Madoyan off balance as he was looking to try and throw himself. I don't think the Cuban crowd know quite what to make of Madoyan, to be honest, at times. But the antics do work for him because it's not like he's losing concentration. And it's not the kind of in-ring performance you would expect from him, really. When you see him outside the ring, all fighters are different inside the ring to outside the ring, of course, because inside the ring they're fighting. But Madoyan, at the weigh-in, he didn't have an awful lot to say. He looked maybe just slightly overawed by the whole thing. But it hasn't been once the bell's gone. A couple of hooks off the jab there from Iglesias. He's got so much WSB experience, Iglesias, to add into all that elite level 3-round experience. I wonder whether he can look to try and up the tempo in these final couple of rounds. He is getting towards the end of a long and illustrious career. I think that's fair to say at 36 years old, but he's superbly conditioned. A smile from Iglesias, which is not something you see very often. And as I said, in the fight between Erislandi, Alvarez and Jose Munoz, these kinds of antics, which I think is probably the best word to describe them, that Madoyan's indulging in, you just don't get this in elite amateur competition. It's not allowed. Well, the front feet just colliding again there. It's always going to happen when you have an orthodox against a southpaw. Good left hand there from Madoyan. Slightly slappy, but it landed. Big crowd in. I arrived about 2.5 hours before boxing started, and there was a long line outside. It's been a hot ticket, this, ever since it was announced, and you can see why, because there are some stone-cold legends of Cuban boxing on this card. 3 double Olympic gold medalists. Cruz has won 5 IBA World Championships. Lazaro, Alvarez 3. Lopez and Iglesias have won that title as well. It is not every day that you see those kinds of fighters all on the same card. Roberto Duran has taken his seat away to my left-hand side. Been great seeing him around the last couple of days. Miguel Cotto's here as well, famous Puerto Rican fighter. Into the 5th. Little feint with the front foot there from Iglesias, and Madoyan bought it, but he didn't really open him up necessarily. Iglesias just continues to go about his work. He's not been suckered in by any of this. Again, just rattles off the combination there. Madoyan, for his part, when he does come forward, is launching himself into the attacks, looking for the big shots. They're real effort punches. Whereas Iglesias is just in that rhythm. Right hand into the body there from Madoyan. Half apologised for it. I think he maybe felt it was slightly low. I don't think it was. Again, just steps in and looks to go to the body there. Madoyan. Nice left hand there from Iglesias into the final minute. I think the heads might have come together there because there's a cut on the corner of the left eye of Madoyan. There's a reasonable amount of blood coming from that too. I think that was caused by a clash of heads. The referee has called time out here, and this doesn't look great, I have to say, because there's plenty of blood coming from it. I think he's coming over to my side of the ring. That's a bad cut. It's along the eyebrow, above that left eye. Probably taking up about half the length of the eyebrow, starting a third in, so the middle third of that eyebrow has been lacerated. You've got a decent look at it there, and there's quite a lot of blood. There's not long remaining in the round, which is good news for Madoyan, and only one round to go after this. Iglesias is winning the fight. We'll see what the referee says at the end of the round, whether she gives a gesture as to whether it was caused by a punch or a clash of heads. But the blood is flowing freely from it, and the referee is going to take him over to the corner again. I wouldn't be surprised if the doctor decides that enough is enough here. There's just a few seconds remaining in the round, so he might give the corner some time to work on it between rounds. And he's happy for him to continue. And the referee just telling the parents to keep their heads up there. Haven't seen any signal from the referee at the time or in between rounds. My guess would be that that was from a clash of heads. Well, you can see it there, and the blood's coming from it already. Three minutes remaining here. This is the sixth and final round between Roniel Iglesias in the black and Gurgen Madoyan in the white. And I think it's just a question really of whether he's able to get through to the end of the contest here, Madoyan, with that cut, because just one solid blow on it and that is going to start streaming. And the third time the doctor has to come and have a look at it, he may well decide that that's enough. Good left hand there from Iglesias. Just so good at finding his range. Madoyan has pushed the referee a little bit too far there. And the crowd didn't like that either. A little bit of exuberance, I think they're okay with, but any sense that an opponent might be in any way mocking a Cuban fighter, particularly a double Olympic gold medalist, then I don't think they're going to like that too much. And I think the crowd here will be quite keen for Iglesias to stick some manners on Madoyan in the last couple of minutes here. remember seeing Iglesias actually at the 2021 World Championships suffer a head clash after a matter of seconds in his opening fight. The judges had to score that first round, 20 seconds or so though it was. The opponent, I think, had landed probably one punch in that time and therefore won the fight. And it was a terrible anticlimax because he won an Olympic gold medal a couple of months beforehand. He was looking to try and complete what would be a collector's item because the Olympics and the World Championships these days are never in the same year. But they were that year. Julio La Cruz did go on to do that double. And he's going to manage to make it to the final tape here, Madoyan. But he's going to need to get that stitched. That cut is going to need some work. Stitches inside and out, I would guess. Bell goes, and again another entertaining fight. Madoyan brought plenty of effort, boxed in bursts really. Launched those marauding attacks, I think, mainly as a method of keeping Iglesias off him, and it worked pretty well because he got himself through to the finish line there, managed to navigate the 6 rounds. Iglesias was always in control. And it will be another win for the Cuba Domadores. And there's some team kit from the first time around. WSB will be back next year, we are told. And as I said earlier in the evening, boxing fans will love that because it was a brilliant competition. You speak to fighters about it. I spoke to a lot of GB fighters about it, and they absolutely loved it. Just that bigger feel to the shows. 5 3-minute rounds, smaller gloves, no vests. It was just something different. The ring walks, everything about it. It was a big hit with participants and spectators alike.
En la división de los 67 kilogramos, por votación dividida, el ganador en la esquina negra de los tomadores de Cuba,
Roniel Iglesias gets a decision. My Spanish isn't perfect by any stretch, but I think the MC there described that as de vida, so a split decision, which I do find a bit surprising because Madoyan launched attacks, he was ambitious, but it was Iglesias who controlled that fight from beginning to end. But the right fighter has got it in any case, and it's another win for the home team. So next up we've got Lopez up against Luis Tejeda. This is for the IBA Americas title. And the flags are just being prepared. The Dominican Republic flag, the belt, will be on its way into the ring as well. The Cuban flag will get unfurled. We'll have some national anthems.
del medallista de bronce en el primer campeonato mundial celebrado en 1974 en La Habana, Cuba. Today we are to have the first medalist, bronze medalist in the first men boxing championship in 1974 in Havana, Cuba. Bienvenido, please welcome José Luis Bellón. El merecido aplauso para esta gloria del boxeo. Y llega uno de los momentos más emocionantes de la noche de campeones. La pelea por el título mundial a 10 asaltos de los semipesados. Now comes one of the most exciting moments of the night. Champions, 10 rounds in light heavyweight divisions for World Champions IBA. En la esquina dorada, in the golden corner, representando a República Dominicana, from Dominican Republic, Luis Antonio Tejeda.
Luis Tejeda, 25-year-old from Dominican Republic. He tackles Alvarez Lopez over 8 rounds for this IBA Americas title at light heavy. Boxed on a Champions Night in April in Almaty in Kazakhstan. Lost to the home fighter Beksad Nurdaulatov. Had a good win just before that though against Richard Rivera over 8 rounds. Rivera who ran Badu Jack very close in Saudi a couple of years ago.
From Domadores de Cuba, Lopez.
Alvarez Lopez, like Julio Cruz, a 2-weight Olympic gold medalist, 75 kilos in Rio in 2016, and then moved up to light heavy in Tokyo. Has been an IBA World Champion, a Pan Am Champion. Kicked it all off way back in 2009 when he was World Junior Champion. And like the rest, he's got that WSB experience.
Pelea por el título mundial de los semipesados. Fight for the IBA World Champion light heavyweight division. Por esa razón, for due reason, contamos con la presencia, we have the present, el secretario general de la IBA, CEO, IBA General Secretary, ICO, Chris Roberts, OBA. Por favor. Boxeadores, boxers, please. Here, boxers, please, here, boxeadores. Okay. Por favor, ponerse de pie para escuchar las notas del himno nacional de República Dominicana. Please, Estrada for the national anthem of Dominican Republic. entonces de escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Cuba. Moment to listen the national anthem of Cuba. En la esquina dorada, in the golden corner, representando a República Dominicana from Dominican Republic, Luis Antonio Tejeda, 25 años, 25 years old. De balance, 9 victorias sin derrotas, the record. 9 wins, 0 losses. 6 victorias por nocaut, 6 wins por KO. En la esquina negra, in the black corner, de los domadores de Cuba, from domadores de Cuba, Arlen Lopez, 31 años, 31 years old, 2 veces campeón olímpico y mundial, 2 times Olympic champion and world champion, balance 3 victorias sin derrotas, record, 3 wins and 0 losses, 2 victorias por KO, 2 victories por KO. Los jueces que actuarán en este combate son the judges that will be acting in this fight are jueces número 1, Ruslan, Verónica Sot, Hungría for Hungary. Juez número 2, Josh 2, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala. Josh número 3, Josh 3, Luca Vallonga de Italia. El árbitro de este combate, the referee of the fight is José Romero de España.
31 years old now, Lopez. But as he showed at the Olympics recently, there is still plenty left in the tank. He picked up a bronze medal, lost a brilliant semi-final against Alexander Kizhniak of Ukraine, who went on to win the final. So still very much capable of competing at the highest level. 3-0 as a pro. Lopez in the black, Tejeda in the white. Nice right hand to the body there from Tejeda. Moved in behind the jab. Took his feet with him. And planted that right hand into the midriff of Lopez. Tries a right hand lead there, Lopez. Doesn't quite land it. Better range on the 1-2, but the right hand landed again there to the body from Tejeda. Right hand from Lopez. He seemed to move Tejeda a few seconds ago, but he rode that one that pushed him back towards the ropes. But this is a good spell from Lopez. He's got through with a couple there. Tejeda maybe a little bit open. That short right hand that's just finding a gap around the back of the guard is proving to be a problem for Tejeda. And this is a good fight already. Tejeda trying to work the body. Lopez felt that at least one of them was low. Landed the uppercut. Turns southpaw, Lopez. Nice dig to the body there from Lopez. Just happy to lean on here. Forehead to forehead and back himself to create enough space to find the room to land. He's thrown nice, short, straight shots, Lopez. They've got less distance to travel, and they're landing before these hooks from Tejeda, although he scores to the body there. But just before that, there was a nice, short, straight right hand. Little uppercut there from Lopez, and another right hand to the body. None of these are travelling far, and that's the main reason why they're getting through. Nicks a left hand to the body there as he turns southpaw, Lopez. And then a short right hook. He's found a good range quickly there, Lopez. There he is, the great man, Roberto Duran. Hands of stone, manos de piedra. I walked into breakfast this morning, minding my own business, looked up and all of a sudden there he was. Sat there in a t-shirt with a massive picture of himself on it. And I just thought to myself, this is a great couple of days. What he wants to do to Tejeda is dig those toes in and really climb into those hooks. But Lopez is just taking that straighter route, that shorter route. Right hand there looks a little bit low. Long left hand there from Lopez, and again the second left hand I think moved Tejeda a little bit, and again he's landed, and Tejeda is trying to fire back here, but I just wonder whether he was slightly buzzed by one of those first two lefts. And Lopez landing on him with unerring accuracy here, and Tejeda is just trying to open out. The referee having a word with Lopez about landing around the back of the head there. This is hard for Tejeda, it really is, because he's getting hit with these short, sharp, accurate punches. He's trying to fire back, but when he tries to fire back and opens out, he generally makes it worse for himself because it gives Lopez more openings. Lovely solid 1-2 there from Lopez. Perfect biting point on it, then a left hand. So comfortable in the pocket there, Lopez. Big right hand came towards him from Tejeda, but he just slipped it as easy as you'd like. Just leans on here, Lopez, and then he'll disengage, find a little bit of room and give himself space to punch. Exactly like he did there. Tiny step back, moves his upper body back, and enough room for the uppercut. Left hand there just sends Tejeda onto his heels, and another left lands from Lopez. A minute remaining in the second round, and this is getting rough for Tejeda. Works the body Tejeda, but again he gets stung to the head. Again, Tejeda looks like he might be about to come apart here. The balance, the equilibrium has kind of gone, to be honest. This accumulation of punches, another one lands high on the head towards the temple. Lopez just sets his feet and digs in that left hand. An awful lot of gas has been taken out of the tank here at Tejeda. And again, Lopez just finding those openings and exploiting them with ruthless efficiency as the bell goes at the end of the second round. And that was a very, very hard 3 minutes. The corner just trying to get Tejeda back onto the stool as quick as they can, because he's in trouble here. He has been tenderised in these opening 2 rounds, he really has. And if it keeps going like this, it's difficult to see him finding a way through to the end of the next round, to be honest. As he spat out the water there was plenty of blood. He's been so accurate, Lopez, right from the beginning. And that energy bar of Tejeda is being eroded with every punch that lands. And the corner needs to keep a very close eye on this, the Dominican corner. There's too much Vaseline on that left eye, I think. And the referee is just going to tell them to wipe some of it off. They need to act quickly here if they feel that he's really under the gun again, because what they know is if Lopez gets him going, there will be no respite. Right hand comes straight over the top of the jab there from Lopez. But that's the best thing he can do here, Tejeda, is try and use that jab. He's got long arms. Keep it at distance and fire the jab. But unfortunately, I don't think that is something he is going to do. He's trying to fight back off the ropes here, Tejeda, and it's brave. But ultimately, it's going to prove his undoing. Walks straight onto a stiff right hand there. Bit of blood coming from the nose there, I think, of Tejeda as well. Smearing left hand there from Lopez. I don't think landed absolutely clean, but there's a lot of blood coming from that nose now. He's in terrible trouble here, Tejeda. The referee, I think, could jump in at any stage here. A big spit of blood. Lopez just pointing at Tejeda and saying to the referee, surely you're going to get involved here. There's an awful lot of blood coming from that nose. The corner should stop this. They need to stop this, the Dominican corner. He's about to get knocked out here, Luis Tejeda. They're having a good look at the corner. The towel is in the hand, and the referee is going to decide that enough is enough here, and that is the right decision, because Luis Tejeda, he was ready to go there. He was ready to go. And as much as we all love to see a knockout, you do not want to see someone stretched out flat on their back if you don't need to see it. And that was one of those situations, because he was on the receiving end right from the very start. It had started to go downhill, and it was only going to get worse. That was terrific from Lopez. Savage accuracy and spite in those punches from the very, very beginning. And I'm just relieved that that didn't go on any longer. As impressive as it was to watch, and as much as I was enjoying the masterclass really that Lopez was putting on there, sometimes there comes a point where you've seen enough, and that was one of those instances. And this place is absolutely rocking. And Lopez there too. I said he was ruthless, but he did show some mercy. He had him backed up in the corner, the nose was streaming, and he stepped off and he gestured to the referee. So the referee needed to get involved. He didn't have to do that. He could have stepped in and just let his hands go. And that is a mark of the man, I think, as well. I'm just waiting for Tejeda to get ungloved here. It can take a while sometimes. They've cleaned up that blood from the nose, but there's an awful lot of blood on that towel in the corner, there really is. That amount of blood doesn't necessarily mean it's broken, but from the look at the shape of the bridge of his nose there, I think it may well be.
La decisión del quinto combate de la noche, the decision, the fight of the night. El ganador del título mundial de los semipesados, the winner of the world champion IBA, Saydrakhimov, por decisión de KO técnico, for decision TKO. En la esquina negra, en the black corner, de los tomadores de Cuba, proclamadores de Cuba, Lopez.
Lopez adds another title to that already long, long list. That was a surgical performance. Those fists like razor-sharp scalpels, just slicing away at Tejeda every time they landed. So one fight to go, top of the bill, Julio La Cruz up against Madoyan Saydrakhimov. And that is for the IBA world title at 92 kilos. It was the accuracy, the metronomic accuracy of almost everything he threw, Lopez. Hardly anything completely missed. Either it landed clean or it thudded into gloves or forearms, and that was the point at which he really did come apart there, Tejeda. No shame in it, none whatsoever. He was in there against one of the very best. And he's just celebrating over on the far side of the ring.
Y llega.
And you can see Madoyan Saydrakhimov in the background there, just to the end of the walkway, waiting patiently. Very good fighter, silver medalist at the 2022 Asian Championships. Lost to Julio La Cruz in the 2021 World Championships in the semi-finals, so won a bronze on that occasion. Gold medalist at the 2019 World Military Games, so some serious credentials there. One pro fight to his name, Saydrakhimov from Tashkent in Uzbekistan. Just a slight delay before we get this final fight of the night into the ring. It's come along probably a bit earlier than expected. Everything had gone the distance. And then this one finished in the third. But you could see after that second round that if it continued in the same vein, I said it at the time that there was no way really Tejeda was going to make it to the end of that third round, and that's how it proved. And the nose had well and truly gone at that stage, and that really was the point at which he just stepped off Lopez and gestured to the referee. As I said, it's a good mark of the athlete, of the competitor that he is, because this isn't personal. He'd won that fight and he knew he'd won that fight. And rather than just step in and finish it by potentially knocking Tejeda cold, he decided he'd prefer it if the referee got involved. An expectant murmur around the arena. The Cruz was the fighter who got the biggest reception at the weigh-in earlier today. 5-time IBA world champion, 2-time Olympic champion, 4-time Pan Am champion. In his mid-30s now, like Iglesias, he's coming towards the end. He was in the Paris Olympics but lost his first fight. Didn't medal at the World Championships in Uzbekistan last year. But who's to say that he hasn't still got a couple of medals in him yet? Because I think a lot of people, after the 2019 World Champs, where for the first time in what felt like forever, he didn't get a gold medal, people wondered, I think, at that stage whether his best days were well and truly behind him, to be honest. And then he moved up to heavyweight and questions were asked, and I was one of the people asking them, was he really big enough for a 10-kilo jump? Would that speed and those reflexes still be there and be as effective against heavier punches? It seemed like a big ask. It was a big ask, but the way he responded with that gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics, and then just a couple of months later, a 5th world title in Belgrade at the World Championships was, well, it was something else. Cuba won 5 gold medals in 1974 in this arena at the inaugural World Championships. Teofilo Stevenson, Rolando Garbi, Emilio Correa, Douglas Rodriguez, Jorge Hernandez. 5 out of a potential 11. They've won 81 gold medals at World Championships all told in the 22 editions to date, which is an absolute mile ahead of anybody else. Russia are in second with 28, so that just gives you an idea of the dominance of this boxing island. This is the first fight of the night. Saidel Horta up against Ruslan Belousov. It was a good fight, this. Not that much in it, I didn't think. Horta, I think, was maybe a bit amped up the first couple of rounds. After that, then settled down. He's feeling the pace towards the end. I think they both were. He got the decision. I think he deserved the decision, but Belousov put a lot into it. I would say won at least a couple of rounds. This was Lazaro Alvarez against Mujibillo Tursunov, and another good fight because Tursunov really brought it to the max. But Alvarez was too skillful for him, let his hands go nicely. Got the win by unanimous decision. And this was Erislandi Alvarez against Jose Munoz, and again it was an entertaining fight. I did wonder whether Alvarez might be able to force a stoppage. He started quick in round one, and he had sustained periods in almost every round, probably apart from the final round where you just thought if he could just keep this up a little bit longer, then it might be enough that Munoz might really unravel. But credit to Munoz, it never really happened. And there was the backflip. He's been waiting there a long time now, Saydrakhimov. You can see him in the background there with the white and gold sleeveless gown on.
El combate por el título mundial de los cruceros. The moment everyone has been waiting for has arrived. The grand final of this spectacular night of champions. The cruiserweight world champion IBA. En la esquina dorada, in the golden corner, representando Uzbekistan, from Uzbekistan, Saydrakhimov.
So here comes Saydrakhimov. I outlined his credentials earlier and they're impressive. World Championship bronze medalist, an Asian Games silver medalist, a World Military Games gold medalist. That's a very tough competition. Lost his berth in the Uzbek team to Lazizbek Mulajonov, who went on to win medals at the World Championships in 2023 and then of course at the Olympic Games. One fight and one win as a pro. That was in Kuala Lumpur way back in October 2017.
En la esquina negra, in the black corner, representando a los domadores de Cuba, from domadores de Cuba, Julio César La Cruz.
Five-time world champion, two-time Olympic champion, and at his peak, one of the most dominant fighters I've seen. I would put that peak probably at 2013 to 2017. During that period, he was as close to unbeatable, I think, as you can be. Over 3 rounds or the 5 rounds of WSB. Just a sensational fighter, still is now.
Por favor, ponerse de pie para escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Uzbekistán. Please stand for the national anthem of Uzbekistan. Momento de escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Cuba. Moment to listen the national anthem of Cuba. En la esquina dorada, en the golden corner, representando Uzbekistán from Uzbekistan, Saydrakhimov, 27 años, 27 years old. Debutó en el 2017, his debut was in 2017. El balance de una victoria sin derrotas, record, 1 win and 0 losers. En la esquina negra, en the black corner, representando a los tomadores de Cuba, representing the tomadores de Cuba, Julio César La Cruz, 35 años, 75 years old. 2 veces campeón olímpico, 5 veces campeón mundial, 2-time Olympic change, 5-time world champion. Los jueces que actuarán en este combate son the judges that will be acting in this fight are Juez 1, Judge 1, José Romero de España from Spain. Juez 2, Judge 2, Verónica Soc-Hungría from Hungary. Juez 3, Judge 3, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala from Guatemala. El árbitro de este último combate será the referee. The last fight is Luca Badilonga de Italia from Italy.
So touch of gloves, 10 rounds or fewer here between these two, Julio La Cruz and Madoyan Saydrakhimov. A packed arena. Here we go. This for an IBA Pro World title, touch of gloves. And you see the size difference there between them, really. Cruz is not a natural 92 kilo fighter, but he moved up. They both did, him and Arlen Lopez. They moved up from 75 and 81 to 91, which became 92, and 81, which became 80. Just flicking that jab up from the waist, Cruz, and then following it in with the right hand, still using those reflexes. He's always relied on them. Gloves low. He'll just lean back at the waist, hinge at the waist, basically, to stay out of trouble. Move side to side. That kind of matrix-like movement, as people like to describe it. That's exactly what he does. He's seemingly there to be hit, but very, very difficult to land on. People have managed it from time to time. Joshua Buatsi put him down in the World Championships in 2015. There was the famous stoppage he suffered against Khalil Ko, which was at a European tournament. I think it might have been the Botch guy from memory. Got knocked down and stopped, and people wondered at that point, were those reflexes just beginning to fade a little bit? Would fighters now be able to catch up with him? It didn't prove to be the case. Saydrakhimov just aiming that right hand and missing with it, and being made to miss. Any fighter will tell you takes gas out of the tank, and that's what Cruz does to you. Good jab again there from him, up jab, scored. Got through with the right hand there though, Saydrakhimov. Chopping down with it. They're scheduled for 10 rounds, of course. He boxed loads and loads of WSB, Cruz. 30, 40 fights probably. No knockdown called there. That was a push and a tangle of the feet, I think, more than anything else. And he never had any problem employing his style over 5 rounds. But this is different. This is 10. And what Saydrakhimov must tell himself is that if he can bring some concerted pressure, if he can keep trying to walk him down, be compact, not give anything away, not swing wildly like he did there, and take too much gas out of his own tank, then Cruz will slow down over the course of the 10 rounds. That's just a good logical thought process. And although he may find himself down at halfway, he can come into it in the second half. Bell goes at the end of the first round. There are those reflexes, throws a 1-2, it didn't quite get there, but that did, just a minimal pullback. And then comes back with the right hand. It's the core strength to be able to just pull back like that and then bounce forward. It makes it look very, very easy, but it's far from it. But as I said, Saydrakhimov, what he needs to do is just have a good, solid plan, which will just involve trying to put that pressure onto Cruz. Don't be too distracted by what he's doing. Aim for the chest, shoulders. Head hunting with Cruz is a very, very difficult thing to do. He will make you miss a lot. That right hand into the body there, that's a good shot for Saydrakhimov. Just land on something, feel something on the end of the glove. It will give you confidence. It will knock him off balance, make him offset and start again. Try not to waste too much. Believing that in the second half, he will become easier to hit. Good right hand there from Saydrakhimov. jabbed his way in there, Cruz, doubled up on the jab, followed it in. The right hand didn't land clean. Combination there, jab, right hand, left hand to the body. And there's that counter right hand, a rueful kind of grin there from Saydrakhimov, who just swings those gloves wide, gathers them, and then takes that front foot forward again. He can't get too worried about things like that. That's going to happen to him. Good right hand into the body there from the Uzbek. And then made to miss wildly with a lead left hand. And there again is that pull back counter right hand. Makes you fall short, pulls back, makes you fall short, then just dips it over the top. Good use of the jab again there from the Cruz. It starts around about his knee, that left glove when he throws it. Bursts up into the eye line, which boxers will tell you make it difficult to read. A jab that starts at eye level, you can pick up early. One that starts as low as it does with the Cruz, much more difficult to see coming. That's a great snapshot there. The jab shoots out, travels farther probably than the opponent thinks it's going to, follows it up with a right hand. And then hinges at the waist and pulls back. It's a tough job, this. As I said, for a good spell there, it was the toughest of jobs in world boxing, I would say, amateur or pro. Got to keep believing if you're in there against Cruz. Over this longer format particularly, you have to believe that you can use all 10 rounds. Jabs to the body, Saydrakhimov to start the round off. That is a good shot for him. As I said before, anything that just hits something that causes him maybe to even minimally lose his balance and then reset and start again is a good thing. Just dips his knees there, Saydrakhimov, and sends a right hand into the body. Again, that's exactly the sort of thing he'll be looking for. Someone like Cruz can break your spirit quite easily. It can be a very demoralising experience boxing him. Good combination there from Cruz. And that's where the mental strength really comes in if you're up against him. You cannot allow that to happen. Good 1-2 again there from him. But it's easier said than done. Again, just pulls back there and makes Saydrakhimov fall short with a long right hand. He's a big man, a tall man, and whips that left hand up. Again, Cruz there, a kind of up jab come screw shot. One of the problems he's got here, Saydrakhimov, is that he just can't get his hands back quick enough. So he jabbed to the body there, and before he could get that left hand back to protect himself, the right hand snuck through and caught him. Everything has got to go out quick and come back quick, or you're better off not throwing it. Cruz just so good at exposing any kind of technical flaw. If you don't take your feet with you, if you don't keep them underneath you, then he will make you fall short and he will counter you. Even if you do, he's still capable of doing it. There's that jab again. Saydrakhimov trying to keep that upper body on the move as he moves forward and then looks for a right-hand lead, but a right-hand lead is a punch that Cruz will see coming from a mile away. So 3 rounds down, 3 rounds put safely in his back pocket here by Julio Cruz. So into the 4th, Julio Cruz in the black, Madoyan Saydrakhimov in the white. Just trying to pin the left glove of Cruz there, Saydrakhimov. The referee just allowing them to work things out for themselves on the inside there. The combination from Cruz finishes on the right hand to the body. Cruz just leading off, looking for the left hand to the body and just backing Saydrakhimov up, and that's not a good look for the Uzbek. He's got to be trying to get that full momentum himself, try and take the centre. Untidy this 4th round so far. And you look at Cruz just inching forward there. And he's making his opponent just give that ground. He's just so good at controlling the fight. Saying to the referee that Saydrakhimov was coming in a little bit low with his head there. The jab again works for him and the lead left hook. Saydrakhimov came over the top of that front foot as he came forward. You get the feeling watching Cruz down the years that opponents become a bit bamboozled or bewitched by him, hypnotised by him almost. They end up doing what he wants them to do. And that's what's happening here. It's like he can exercise some kind of Jedi mind control. Closing stages of round 4. that right hand, but there's very little to disguise it from Saydrakhimov. That's the problem, and the Cruz just sees it coming from so far away. That it's very unlikely to land. He's almost reluctant to throw, Saydrakhimov. No one's thrown anything in this round, and we've had almost 30 seconds already so far. Eventually throws that right hand, and the right hand comes straight back from the Cruz. The Cruz happy to hang out just inside the ropes. Pretty much as soon as he feels that bottom rope on the back of his calf, then he'll look to get away, treating it like an electric fence, if you like. He gets that kind of charge off it and decides, okay, I'm a little bit too close. I don't want to get hemmed in here, but Saydrakhimov just, he's reluctant to commit. Right hand lead from Saydrakhimov, did get through, then followed it up with a left hand to the body. He's having a little bit more success in this round after a tentative start, but I wouldn't say at this point that it's enough necessarily to win the round. We're only halfway through it anyway. But this is better from him. He's on top of the Cruz a little bit more, who maybe is just beginning to slow down slightly. When I say slow down, I'm talking about the speed of the reflexes more than anything else, because that's what he relies on. It's not necessarily his feet, although the feet are a key in making sure you're in the right position so that you can employ that lateral movement that he's so good at. But as the fight goes on, he might just become less effective at leaning back and staying just out of the way of punches. He just slides underneath the left hand there, though. The Saydrakhimov, again, he's just continuing to bring the heat here to a decent level, and this is what he needs to do. He's not tried to do anything crazy. He misses with the right hand there, but he's just got close enough, and when he's got close enough, after that first 30-45 seconds where he didn't really do too much at all, he's been happy enough to let his hands go. And he could have won that round. So midway through this one, scheduled for 10. But that kind of exchange we're watching there, Saydrakhimov should welcome that, because he is the bigger of the two. Physically, he's the bigger man. And on the inside there, he actually did pretty well. The Cruz doesn't really need to be there. He doesn't really want to be there. Not for extended periods, but that's where he found himself for a spell there. And it suited Saydrakhimov more. Good right hand there from the Uzbek. Stepped nice and wide with his lead foot and threw it straight down the middle. I think that previous round, whether he won it or whether he didn't, that should have given him some confidence, because he felt body, shoulder, forearm, glove, head at times on the end of that fist. Nice right hand into the body. Jabs coming back there from the Cruz, doubles up on it, but then Saydrakhimov looks for the right hand on the inside. Right hand was a little bit slappy there from the Cruz. Tries to ride the right hand from Saydrakhimov, but I think it did just half catch him. Nice quick hands there from the Cruz. When he throws that 1-2, often they land in such rapid succession. There's very little avoiding it. Avoiding the right hand there with ease, the Cruz, and then just pivoting off around that front foot in such a narrow, tight circle around his opponent that sometimes you see him trip over the front leg of the opponent. Good jab there from the Cruz. And there's that 1-2 again. The right hand, again, lands mainly with the inside of the glove there, with the palm almost. Up until the midway point of this round, there wasn't really much in it, but in the second half of it, so far, the Cruz has outlanded his opponent quite comprehensively. And there's that rapid 1-2 again. Saydrakhimov just becoming slightly frustrated. I think having had a better round in the previous round, not really able to follow it up in the sixth. Into the seventh, the Cruz is starting things off with a nice snappy jab again. He's in the black. Saydrakhimov in the white. The Cruz comfortably ahead here. And he's the kind of fighter who, as a pro, will have to go the distance, will have to box over the duration. The one thing you can say about him if you're up against him, as difficult as it is that he's not a fighter who has enormous power. The way that he throws, he never really sets his feet and turns at the waist into punches a lot of the time, although he got some decent heat on that right hand. Saydrakhimov just there was in a position where he could step in on the Cruz, but aimed a rather ambitious lead left hook. That type of punch against someone like him is just so unlikely to work. It's the absolute basics that can work against him, and that was what he did well in that fifth round was he got close and just threw just good straight shots, economical shots. And not all that many of them landed clean, very, very few, but he was having enough of an impression that the way it looked was that he was having some success. It's the final minute of the 7th. Right hand into the body, and then the left hand from Saydrakhimov did get through off the back of that right hand into the body, and I don't think that's any great shock. And again, just marauds forward with a right hand lead there. Which, as I've said before, is ambitious in the extreme. Good right hand from the Cruz, well timed. Been made to fall fractionally short there twice. First with the 1-2 and then with the left hook, and that a good snapshot of what it's like boxing the Cruz. Sometimes he makes you look like you've missed wildly by huge distances, when actually the opponent's not done all that much wrong. With the 1-2 there, Saydrakhimov did reach for it. He does have a tendency to do that. He did it there. He'll tend to chase it in a bit. He really wants it to land, so he ends up coming over the top of that front foot, which against someone like the Cruz is fatal, really. If it's not going to get there, then you just let it fall short against him and you just get those gloves back as quick as you can. Because if you do chase it in, then he will make you pay for it. The Cruz is ranked at number 3 with the WBA at bridgerweight. Ruslan Magomedov won the WBA belt in Superkov in Russia recently. Bridgerweight goes up as far as 225 pounds. 92 kilos is about 202. So you'd see that division, well, I would at least, as being too big for him. But you just never know, because with the skill set that he's got, the ability he has to make people miss, and the fact that he's still able to do it like this over the course of 10 rounds is impressive, because this fast twitch kind of style, it's physically very, very demanding. And the theory that people did have about him from a long time ago was that he would struggle in professional boxing because of the duration of the contests. Now, we haven't seen him up against top-level opposition yet, but But as with everything that he's done during the course of his career, he is not somebody you would ever with any confidence find yourself betting against. Bit of blood coming from the left eye there of Saydrakhimov. Maybe a little clash of heads, could have been a punch. There's a touch of swelling there as well, just on that cheekbone, on that left cheekbone. Just trying to see exactly where the blood's coming from actually. I think it is just a nick on the corner of the eye rather than some damage on the cheekbone itself. He's just dabbing at it there. We've seen a few cuts tonight. There goes the bell at the end of round 8. So 2 to go. This is the final fight of the night. Final fight on what has been a spectacular card. Cuban legends, old and new, adorning it from top to bottom. At a historic venue on International Boxing Day, it doesn't get too much better. There's that jab again from the Cruz, just flicking it up from the waist. Just so rapid, that 1-2. That time the jab goes to the body and then the right hand up to the head. But the amount of time between the lead left hand landing and that right hand landing would be a split second, a fraction of a second. Right hand there from Saydrakhimov, I think got through. The crowd, I think, just want a little bit more from the Cruz here in the final stages. Minute 20 remaining in round 9. I think they'd like to see him just put on a little bit of a show towards the end here. Tangle of feet, and that's an example of what I was talking about earlier. He turns around that front foot. It's such a tight semicircle or circle almost at times that the front legs end up clashing and down he goes. That's something that happens relatively regularly with him if you watch him often enough. Team Cruz have been on their feet over on the far side of the ring right from the very start of the contest. No one's telling them to sit down over on the far side of the ring. Bronze medalists from the 1974 World Championships that were held in this venue. But again, there's that movement, and that's round number 9. A left hand there from Saydrakhimov did land on him, but still that upper body movement, that lateral movement is just on point. So the 10th and final round coming up. This is for the IBA Pro World title at 92 kilos. And Saydrakhimov has stuck to his task here. I outlined early on how he might choose to try and go about this if he had the tools to do it, and it has turned out that he hasn't quite. You need to be compact. You need to keep your feet underneath you against the Cruz. You need to throw those straight punches as much as you can. Aim for the chest, aim for the shoulders, be patient. Don't get frustrated. You have to be mentally very resolute and have a very solid skill set and a real engine as well. And those are not things that are easy to find in combination. In short, you have to be very good. I think I would probably give Saydrakhimov 1 round, that 5th round. And even then, it's a question of trying to work out whether he actually did win that round or whether that was just his best round. And there's a difference. It's quite easy sometimes to get suckered into giving a round to a fighter because it's the best one they've had, when in fact they haven't really won it. There's that rapid 1-2 again. The distraction of the lead hand. Means that the follow-up, the right hand, lands so regularly. Looking for that right hand lead again there, Saydrakhimov, and as I've said a few times, throwing that kind of unorthodox punch is a very difficult thing to do against an opponent like this. And Cruz that time goes down to the body with the left hand. He's done very little body work in this fight. Almost everything he's thrown has been up to the head. When he has looked to go to the body, it's been more just a touch. And then land that right to the head, a distraction as I described it earlier in the round. Into the final 30 seconds or so. Well, the clock's been a little slow, I think, on screen at times tonight. We're into the final 10 seconds, as it turns out. A little bit dancing here from Cruz. There goes the bell. And that is a win for the Cuban, and a clean sweep for Cuba tonight for the Cuba Domadors, which doesn't come as a great surprise. And the Cruz looked like he could have done a few more rounds of that. We'll get the announcement shortly, but he will be declared the new IBA professional world champion at 92 kilos. Another title to add to the groaning trophy cabinet. He gave it everything he had in there, Madoyan Saydrakhimov, but he was just up against a better fighter, a more skillful fighter, and that sport, it happens, and when it does happen, there's not all that much you can do about it. A lot of people have found that to be the case against Julio La Cruz over the course of the last almost 15 years. Talking to people outside the ring there, La Cruz. As I say, Team La Cruz have been on their feet over on the far side right from the very start of the fight.
La decisión del último combate de la noche. The decision in the last fight of IBA Grade 9 Champions. El ganador del título mundial de los cruceros, the winner cruiserweight IBA World Champion. Por votación unánime. By unanimous decision. En la esquina negra, in the black corner. De los domadores de Cuba, from domadores de Cuba, Julio César La Cruz.
And as expected, La Cruz announced as the winner by unanimous decision, and the IBA professional world champion at 92 kilos. And that rounds off a clean sweep for the Cuba Domadors tonight. Wins for Saidel Horta, Lazaro Alvarez, Erislandi Alvarez, Iglesias, Lopez, and now Julio La Cruz. An absolute pleasure to see them all on the same card. They boxed together on the same card. Iglesias, Lopez, La Cruz and Lazaro Alvarez many, many times. But I do wonder whether we will see them all on the same card, on the same team again. It could happen, but it could be that this is a collector's item and very appropriate given that it's International Boxing Day and we are back at the venue where it all started in 1974 with the very first IBA World Championships. He's won 5 of the 81 gold medals Cuba have scooped at the World Championships, which is a sensational haul. 4 Olympic champions with 7 Olympic gold medals between them tonight on the card too. It's been a star-studded occasion.
Esperamos la hayan disfrutado. Gracias por estar con nosotros. This way, this wonderful night of champion ends, full of emotion, great fights, and love for boxing. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your company this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it too. We will leave you with some highlights of that final fight. Stay well, everybody. We'll catch up with you again next time.